Hello and happy Wednesday. This is going to be a review. I don't know. I'm almost to the point of some of these I want to call them showcases or demos because, to be honest, I haven't used these pencils all that much, so I don't really feel like I can give 100% my own thoughts until I adequately color with them at least one or two pages. But that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to go ahead and put in a disclaimer that I foundation work started in my utility room today. I believe they're on lunch break, but if you do hear noises in the background, that is the construction. I apologize for that, but I already know when it gets to the evenings, I do not feel like recording, and I really wanted to get something recorded. So we're going to try to work through it, and it'll all be good. So I've not seen these reviewed very much. Just if from casual browsing, I don't see a lot of people feature these. Um, Especially in the U.S., you may be familiar with the Cra-z-art brand of colored pencils. Those are usually sold. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at like dollar stores and places like that. The Cra-z-art pencils are very they're probably, how do I put this? They're really hard pencils. They're very frustrating pencils for me, the just regular Cra-z-art pencils. I have a lot of hand and wrist issues, and really hard colored pencils I can only color, a third to half the time that I can with softer colored pencils just because of how much pain is in my hand from them. I actually had the Crayola 100 set, and while I did love it, I ended up giving it away because realistically, I was just never going to use them. They were just really difficult to use with my hands. But with Cra-z-art, like I said, that name may sound familiar to you. They do also have a, excuse me, slightly more expensive set of colored pencils, another set called Timeless Creations, and that's what I have here today. It is a 72 set. I don't believe they have smaller sets than that, but I'm reviewing the 72 set. You can get these in the U.S. You can, well, I don't know. Amazon UK may have them too, but you can get them on Amazon. Um, right now, the price I'm seeing on U.S. Amazon is $9.99. You can also get them at Walmart. I think around $14 is what is showing on their website. And at Michael's, you can also get them right now. They're on clearance for $11.37. Plus, they're running some kind of special online if you do shop Michael's online. I'm sure they're available in some of the stores as well. So there's a few different places you can get these. I show you the box. They come in a regular cardboard box, but of course I have tossed that and am using a pencil case instead, as you can see. So the Timeless Creation pencils, let me adjust the focus. Well, there we go. I should have picked something that was a little easier to see. Hang on. Will the purple be easier to see maybe? There we go. So they're just regular size, your average size colored pencils. I'm trying to find a random colored pencil to compare them to, and I don't have any out. They, typical width and length, they are a round barrel pencil. They have color names on them, and then they have Cra-z-art and Timeless Creations stamped. It's like a gold stamp on them, as you can see. And like I said, I think the highest set is the 72 set. And I have swatched them. Let me zoom in a little so you can see them. I am going to go ahead before, real quick. I have not done one of these in a while, so I'm like really scattered. Um, we're reviewing these today. I'm not sitting here saying these are the end all be all pencils. Yeah, there we go. There. Move that over just a hair. I will provide other links other than Amazon, but the Amazon link is an affiliate link. If you do purchase that or another product through that link, I'll receive a few cents as a referral bonus. It doesn't change the price of the product, but I always put that in the description, but I like to mention it as well. I'm like I said, I haven't used these very much myself, so I guess this is more of a demo and just my kind of thoughts as we're going through the demo on it. So just to give you guys kind of an idea, I'm trying to think. Normally I have a couple things I say, but we're not going to do that today. I've had 2 cups of coffee and it really doesn't feel like I have. I haven't slept well the last few nights. My anxiety definitely is up with people in the house, and I will certainly be coloring a lot, I think, over the next 2 or 3 days. So here is the color chart for the Timeless Creation colored pencils. They do have names with them, hooray. So I wanted to show these and give you kind of an idea of what the colors are. These are like your yellows, your oranges, your flesh tones. We get down into your pinks and your reds. And then your blues, your purples and your blues, and then just starting into the greens here. And I'll flip the page here in a second. Continuing with your greens, going into your browns, your grays, and then finally your black. So I did do a real just quick breakdown of what different colors are offered. Let's see if I can get this over here. It's probably going to be crooked. And you can't see it all that well, can you? But that's fine. There we go. I'm having some issues with my autofocus today. So when I looked at that color chart, I pretty much came up with this type of color distribution. You got 7 yellows or yellow oranges. I counted like the golden mustard and the sunflower as yellows. And then you also have a gold right here. You have 3 kind of peachy skin tone colors. I think your apricot would probably work best as a fair skin tone. And then you've got some browns for your darker skin tones as well. 3 oranges. I just pretty much went with these 3 right here. 15 different pinks and reds. I just kind of grouped those together. 6 purples, 9 blues, 13 greens, 5 browns, 7 grays, and then you have a black and a white pencil. So the reason I wanted to review this set and the reason I want to demo it and take a good look at it is for those of you that are just starting out coloring, you're not really sure if you want to invest a lot of money into it, or maybe, you know, you're coloring on a budget and you want something that may be a step up from your regular Cra-z-art or Crayola pencils, but you don't know if you really want to invest, you know, say $20-30 into colored pencils. I would still classify these as budget friendly colored pencils, but they're my testing is to see if they're a step up from your typical Cra-z-art pencils that you can pick up pretty much at any store these days. And I do have 2 other sets kind of in this range that I'm going to review as well and then I will be comparing them together. So waiting on 1 set to show up in the mail. Yes, I ordered more colored pencils. No, I do not know what's wrong with me. But with this set, if you like coloring a lot with pinks and reds and use a lot of greens, like if you color a lot of landscapes, a lot of leaves, a lot of flowers, this is a really good set for you. You're probably limited on your skin tone colors, but you can make them work, I think, which is a little better than some of the more budget, lower budget pencil sets that you can get. A decent amount of purples and blues. I wasn't particularly pleased with how many browns they had, though. They've got a lot of greens, but not a lot of browns. And a really surprisingly good number of grays. So, um, I like doing this because sometimes, there are just certain things you like to color, and so therefore you're more concerned with sets that have maybe more greens than you're not really worried if there are just three oranges, which is a shame here. I wish there were more oranges, but again, it is a 72 set. So, all right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to color a little bit in three different types of books and paper because I want to show how these do on different paper. And what I'm going to do at the end is I would like to finish at least one of the pictures and I finish it on a color and chat. So what I'm going to ask at the end of this is in the comments if there is a particular book out of these three you would like to see me finish the picture in using these Timeless Creation pencils, then note it in the comments and I will kind of tally that up this week, and next week's color and chat will be the Timeless Creation pencils in whichever book that you guys choose that you want me to finish the picture in. And I may finish the pictures in the other ones, but that will be the one I do on camera. So this here is a Jade Summer book. Let me zoom out for a sec. Flowers for Beginners. I use this book quite a bit for pencil demos, and that's what you saw just then. Here I showcased Prismacolor and Arteza pencils on this type of paper and showed how they do. I think this is Prismacolor, this is Prismacolor, the greens are Artezas, and then I think there's Prismacolor and Arteza up here as well. So, and then I also have the Crayolas right here. So I went ahead and picked similar colors that I used in these and picked a similar looking page to try this on. Now, Jade Summer books are on Amazon printed paper, which can be a little tricky to work on with colored pencils. It is a rougher, toothier paper, so a lot of times it's a little harder to work with colored pencils. For this, I'm going to use three different pinks. I have coral, pink, and pink orchid for the pinkish peachish flower that I'm going to color. So what am I looking at? Okay, I know what I'm looking at. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and get a page protector. I told y'all I am all over the place today. Put behind it, and we will get started. I'm going to do this one right here. I'm assuming, well, no, that may actually be, well, we'll deal with it when the issue arises. So I'm going to blend or use a 3-color blend as I showed before I started this. I'm also going to, with a blue, do just a solid color to kind of show you, for those of you that don't really blend, but you choose to color just straight color with your pencils. I wanted to show that as well. I'll also show what happens when you put white over the pencil. Now the Jade Summer picture we color may be this one if you guys pick it. I may pick another Jade Summer page. I don't know. There isn't a whole lot to color on this one, so. But I guess if you guys want to see it finished, it shouldn't be too difficult to finish. So I am heavy-handed when I color, but I'm trying to go a little lighter so that I probably went backwards on that. And yeah, that's the darker color. Dagnabbit. That's fine. That's fine. See, we will make it work. It will happen. This is a pretty big flower, so we'll just go over this with a darker color, and then we'll bring the lighter pink in for the outer layer. And we're blending these anyway, so this'll work for that. I think they are starting back up. Oh my goodness, y'all. I am relieved this is finally getting done, but people in my house, y'all, just, we've got we've got the Great Wall of China up with the baby gates. They also put up plastic garbage bags over it to keep out the dust, which was, I'm really glad they did. It was something I should have thought of myself. But because of that and the way the gate is set up, I'm not as nervous about the cats trying to scale that gate because they can't even see what's going on the other side. So nobody seems like they've tried to make a break for it today. Leroy's been hanging around it a little bit, but I haven't seen Bagheera since this morning. I meant to feed them before we started moving stuff around, because Bagheera, man, the minute he senses that something new's going down, he hides. And my plan was to go ahead and feed them before I started moving stuff around, just acting like it was a typical morning. And that didn't happen. So he went, I can't really say he went flying under the bed. He mostly just shoved himself in there because he is rather rotund. He's chonky, if you get that reference. He is definitely a mega chonker. Actually, if you've seen that meme, he is, oh Lord, he coming. It shows different, like when you're at the vet's office and it shows you the different looks of a cat and like whether they're average weight, underweight, or overweight. Somebody added their own descriptions, including mega chonker, and oh Lord, he coming was the biggest boy, and that is definitely Bagheera. So he wedged himself under the bed. He can get himself out. I know he can, because he does this all the time. So I'm not too concerned. What is with my brain today? I'm sitting here looking at these pinks like I can't, for some reason in my head, tell which one's the darkest. Alright, so that's with roughly 1 or 2 layers. Not pressing down super hard. I'm probably putting medium pressure on this. These are definitely, they don't glide on the paper. You do have to work them a bit, but compared to like your regular Cra-z-art pencils, they are definitely easier on your hands to use, at least from what I'm experiencing. So I'm going to come in with a heavier layer, and we're going to go ahead and try to blend this out. These do cover up the white quite nicely on this toothier paper. Being a harder colored pencil, that is not surprising. I found that my like my Fila's, my Guanghui's, my my kind of medium range pencils that are a little bit harder than like my Prismacolors and stuff, they do really well on this paper compared to my Prismacolors. I have to work at it to get the Prismas to really fully blend in and cover up the white if the white bothers me. Sometimes the tooth of the paper, sometimes it bothers me, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. So now we're coming in with this middle color. I'm getting a little bit of dust from the pencil. And this is pretty heavy pressure. Again, these aren't soft colored pencils. I will say that. You know, please don't go buy them thinking I'm saying that they're soft colored pencils or that they're like Prismacolors, whatever. That is no, that is not the case. These are, at least so far from what I can tell, they truly are like that next level of colored pencil. So if I went and bought the regular 72 Cra-z-art set or whatever and it was like $5 and these are 10, then I would say these are they're definitely priced where they should be in terms of how hard of a colored pencil they are. I don't think I could color super long periods of time with these, but they are certainly better than the regular Cra-z-art pencils. So now we're going to come in with this coral. Who gets that reference? We're going to come in with this and go over some of the pink a little too to kind of blend it together a little bit. Yeah. If I was in the mood to do really heavy-handed coloring like this, I think I would still have to take pretty frequent breaks on these. But, no, they started work this morning. They may be here. I went over the line a little bit there, but that'll work because we'll just do that, and then that way I can come erase and we can look at that too. But they are kind of dusty pencils, so when you're heavy-handed like this, so keep that in mind. Stupid bugs. Oh, I hate summer. Hate it. Hate this kind of wet, nasty summer like we got going right now. That wet, nasty, humid summer. Everybody's always like, oh yay, summer, and you know, when it's, at least here in Tennessee, we get a couple weeks of the, oh, fantastic summer weather, and then you get the humid, like wet towel weather, where it feels like somebody's smacking you with a nasty old hot wet towel every time you walk outside. And that's the part of summer we're in right now. So, though this week it has cooled off quite a bit. The humidity's been cut. We had one day where a fair amount of rain came through, and usually this time of year, the rain will cool us off for like an hour, and then all that extra moisture just revs up in the heat and makes it even swampier. So it doesn't last very long. But I don't know what happened this weekend, but we did get a bit of a break. We've actually been able to keep the windows open yesterday and today for most of the day with the air cut off. And let me tell you, in July, that is an extremely unusual occurrence. I think yesterday we were in the mid 80s. Today I think we're going to be closer to 90, so the temperature is going to start creeping back up. Hopefully I don't see that little bug flying around. I keep thinking I'm going to swat at it, and then every time I stop, he disappears on me. Let me sharpen this. Hang on. I did use a electric sharpener for these, and sharpened pretty well. Because of how heavy-handed I color, I don't worry too much about getting a super sharp point because I know I'm just going to snap it. So I'm usually like, oh well, what'll be will be. There we go. Alright, so that is what it looks like blended. It is blends together pretty well, actually, for this range of colored pencils. Let's see. Come on, eraser pencil, don't let me down today. It's trying to. It's trying to be a bum today. Erases pretty well. Okay, so there is a 3 pencil blend with those colors. What else did we have? We had green leaves. Grab those. Actually, let me grab the blue and let's do a solid color look here. So if I went really light, like let's say I'm going to just color very lightly. I'll color this flower in. And I'm getting a little bit of dust already off of it. I'm still getting pretty good color even with just very light pressure on it. That would not be the case with a regular Cra-z-art pencil. So actually with the light it's a little harder to see it. So that's with just one light layer. Now let's say I wanted to go back, do a second layer. I'm not putting much more pressure on the pencil than I was the first time. Just a little more. I wouldn't even call this, this is right on the edge of medium pressure. Here. Nope, starting back up. And then a little bit here. So with like a light and then even just a medium pressure layer, we'll just call it that. I mean, you get some pretty good color from this. I don't feel like the colors are as super vibrant as other colored pencil brands. They are, to me, a little muted in this, but not terribly so. Like, I don't think I think you still get really good color out of them for the price point. So, and of course, the more layers you put on it, the more vibrant a color you're gonna get. Some people like the more pastel, maybe the slightly more muted colors in their coloring. These would be a good choice for that. Okay, so there we go with about 3 layers of the blue. Now let me grab the white pencil and I will go over one of these. with the white. Actually, I'll go over a couple of the petals. So the white isn't really doing too much. It is a little noticeable, but not really. I don't think it's really making... Yeah, I can't, on the camera I can't really see a difference where I'm using the white over it. It's not really an opaque white. It's probably more transparent than opaque. So if you like using your white pencil to get kind of an opaque layer of white on colors, this pencil's probably not going to get the job done for you. Let's work on a leaf. Figure out which leaf. Let me sharpen one of these. Hang on. The blue I used was just the light blue. So, alright, so the greens, we're going to do another 3 color. Green, summer green, and light green. So, and I usually go from dark to light just because, I don't know, just because that's how my brain seems to work anymore. So, probably do 2 to 3 layers. That's usually my it's usually my go-to method. These colors probably won't match exactly to the other pages I've done, but they're close enough. So it's pretty green. For sure. I am not 100% sure if I'm going to do a color and chat this week. I probably will put the camera on. Did I go backwards on this again? No, I feel like the light green should be the lightest green. Oh well. And Oreos over here. No, not right now. I am not in the mood. I know some of you are going, oh, and trust me, he is fine. He gets plenty of attention and love and affection. He will be alright for right now. Was it Monday? I guess it was Monday. There was one day where he just would not leave me alone, and I don't know what was wrong that day. Nothing unusual was happening that day, but like I had to constantly shoo him off my desk while I was trying to work, and he just would not go. I don't know what his deal was. Okay, so now we're going to use this one. Actually, I am going to go back and do a little bit darker layer with this one. That is not getting as dark as I would like. That's okay. So that's what I was saying. If you were someone that's really into deep, vibrant, popping colors, these are not, it's going to be a little harder to get that from the set. Sure, that's there. Yep. It's going to be a little harder to get that from the set. You can still get some bright colors, but you're going to have to work at it a little more than you would with a softer colored pencil. But yeah, I am, and that's probably why I'm all over the place too. I'm just super anxious. We don't entertain, we don't socialize much. Well, we don't do that either, but we don't entertain or have a lot of people in our house usually. And so anytime we have people here, I get so anxious about it. Mostly because I'm like, they're gonna come in and be like, "How many cats do you have? Do you have?" Let's put the proper inflection into this question. How many cats do you have? And it's also the matter of having to put the baby gates up and having to monitor and make sure they're not trying to make a break for it, making sure all the proper doors are shut and everything's done. I had planned to get a screen door that I could just mount on the wall that leads, or to the door that leads into the kitchen. We're just going to keep going with this for a second. And I just never got around to it before they showed up. So it's just that. It's like I said, having people in the house and knowing my house isn't spotless, with being sick and not feeling well. I haven't been able to do like the really deep cleans I want to do sometimes as I look at the house, and Brent does a great job of keeping everything together when I'm really struggling. But I hate to ask him to do like that really deep cleaning type of stuff, and so people show up and then I'm instantly like, "Oh my gosh, the house is a wreck." You know how it is. You spend all day cleaning a house and people show up and the first thing you say is, "Please ignore the mess," right? Even though it's, or you'll be like my husband and he'll say, "Oh, this is the cleanest the house has been in months," and it's a joke and he's joking, but depending on who the person is, do they know? And I'm just sitting there like, why do you have to say it like that? Okay, so I have, oh, the one thing we have not done is the purple. Let me do the purple real quick and then we will compare and move on to another page. Boy, y'all are just getting all kinds of wacky noises. Now, there's a point for you right there. It's did pretty well with the electric sharpener. Okay, ow. And then I'm going to stab myself with them. Now, let's see if I can do this without snapping off this end. That's going to be the real test. But, so for those of you that may have missed me talking about, what exactly is going on with the house, we were installing a new side door and storm door onto the house a few months ago. And while the gentleman was installing the door, he noticed that the joist underneath the door was rotting and it was in bad shape. And he recommended, he got the door installed, but he recommended that he couldn't do it, but that we have somebody come out and fix that joist and check for moisture damage to the rest of it as well. So, yay. Was really upset about it, mostly just because we had foundation work done a few years ago, extensive foundation work done, and that was like the one room in the house they said was fine. So I don't know if the damage happened afterwards, though looking at some of the pictures, and I mean, the main joist under that door is just squished, and I really doubt that happened in just a few years. So I'm of the train of thought that they just did not look or did not notice it. And that's really frustrating because I thought we were done with this type of work. So we did not want to go with that company again. We went looking at a few other companies. It was a long process to just get a couple of quotes out here, and then we ended up going with the company that's doing the work now. They said they will be here, I know for sure today and tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday if the work continues on there. I hope not. I hope this isn't as extensive as that, but my real hope, and probably part of my anxiety in this is that this is all done and everything's the way they expected and everything goes fine and we don't have any surprises. I think a lot of my anxiety stems from the fact that anytime we seem to do work on the house, and this is, I mean, that's just comes with owning, especially an older house. This house was built in 1926. It's like a farmhouse style. It comes with the territory. You're going to have surprises because back then they didn't, have standard measurements or entirely flush or level standard ways of doing things. So you're going to come across surprises, especially in older homes. But like the last time we had foundation work done, we had to add like another $5,000 onto the work we did because they come across some damaged joists that we had not seen in the initial assessment. So I think part of my anxiety is I'm waiting to hear them call for one of us, and I'm waiting for them to say, okay, we come across something not good that we didn't expect. Like I'm just waiting for that other shoe to drop, and I never said I was an optimist. So I think that's part of my anxiety too, is I'm just waiting. Like I'm just waiting for the next problem to pop up. So I probably will stay anxious until the work is complete because of that. Which one was the darker? I probably did these completely backwards again, but that's okay. You can probably see where it's blended a little bit. I used purple, luscious lavender, and blueberry jammin'. So you get a little bit of a bluish purpley color in there as well. I like some of the color names. They're pretty cool. We're just gonna... I feel like they blend okay. They're not great, especially on this paper, but they certainly do. I feel like they do better than I would toss my box of regular Cra-z-art pencils at this point, I think, if I were using those. So let's back out here real quick, and I'll show you in kind of a comparison. So I did this flower using the Prismacolors, and as you can see, I mean, they blended pretty darn well. Now, had I done softer layers and layered a little bit more, it probably wouldn't look as splotchy as it does, but it's just a little bit splotchy. It's not bad at all, especially for that type of pencil. With the, and that's because I did it the entirely opposite way. With the leaf, I got a little more of an actual blend rather than just the what I've got here. So it did pretty, like I said, blending wise, they seem to do pretty darn well. And I really like how the purple blended and the blue blended together on the actual part down there. Up here with the blues, like I said, you can get pretty good coverage with just one light layer. 2 light layers will, on this paper, cover most of it. And but the white is pretty darn useless. If you want, because like here you can see it gives it more of an opaque, pastel-y type color sometimes when you put an opaque white over it. And that didn't happen here. I mean, you can't even tell the difference between the petals I colored with it and what I didn't. So That's the Prismacolor and Arteza. And then as for the Crayolas, um, like I said, they seem to blend better with the greens. This seems to be these. I would say the Crayola is a little more not quite as vibrant either. Your Cra-z-arts, you get a little more of a pop with the Timeless Creations. So that probably just comes to how much pigment they put in the pencils. Probably the cheaper the pencil, the less pigment they put in. So if these are the next price point up from Cra-z-art, then I feel like they're at a good price point because they, to me, do seem to have a little more color in them than your just regular standard Cra-z-art pencils and like your standard Crayola pencils. So there's that book. I mostly wanted, that one went a little longer just because I had specifics to color that I could match up. Now we're going to go for what I call mid-range paper, which is Johanna Basford's Magical Jungle. Which picture was it? I think it was this one. Turn it so y'all can actually see it. There we go. Okay, and get my protecting page to go behind it. We might pop in a few other colors here. I'm not real sure yet. Let's see here. Where are my greens? Let's go ahead and sharpen them up. I'm going to go ahead and get some good points on these. There we go. All right. So I think I'm going to color the froggy. The froggies with the greens. Let's see here. All right. You know, I don't know. Actually, we could do purple frogs. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, let's do that. We'll just color some. We'll just color some of the leaves in green, and then we'll do some purple frogs. I like that. I like the sound of that one. So we will do these. Now again, I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 layers on this. I know I will lose patience, but I'm going to try to do a light, medium, and heavy layer without like going crazy and just smashing down and doing one really heavy layer. That's my problem. Like this right here, I start out meaning well with layers, but then I get impatient. And then that's when I start just doing the heavy layers and saying screw it. But yeah, no, poor Bagheera, he's still under the bed. I haven't seen him since this morning. He didn't get to eat breakfast before he panicked. I put his bowl up. I figured once they leave I can go ahead and let him have his food bowl. Let me zoom in a little. There we go. But I figure I'll let him have his food bowl when they leave for the day. He will know, trust me. Our mowers, I'm surprised I haven't seen them, to be honest. Can't remember the last time they came. I'll have to look. Usually they show up about every 2 weeks, and I feel like this week's the week and I have not seen them yet, which is odd. They're usually pretty much right on time, so I hope everything's going well and that there isn't any sort of problem. I figure they'll show up today. I figure we're going to have a deal where we got people working on the house, and then we got our mower show up on the same day. Then we're going to have a whole bunch of deliveries come in, and it's just all going to happen at once, because that's just how life goes with us. So I'm using the same greens that I used on the other page. And I did get really sharp points on these for those of you that are prefer to color with a really sharp pencil. These do have a good sharp point and they hold pretty well. I'm not putting super heavy pressure on it, but I would say with a softer pencil I definitely would run a higher risk of snapping this point off. So but Bagheera's in hiding. I'm trying to think if any of the other... Annie surprisingly hasn't been hiding that much. I figured she would be a lot like Bagheera, and she would go and hide anytime somebody was in the house or around the house doing work. But if they're on the other side of the house like they are today, she just... I'll see her. She just stays on the side of the house. She won't go in the kitchen. She won't go near it. If we have like pest control come in, she'll hide then. But as long as they're on the other side of the house, I guess, she doesn't seem too concerned about them, which is surprising because she is a pretty skittish cat. The rest of them don't seem to care that much. I mean, they're not hanging out in the kitchen right next... So our utility room's right next to our kitchen. And it's not like they're hanging out in there, you know, while they're doing that. The Reepichi probably would if he had a reason to be in the kitchen. Noise just doesn't seem to bother that cat. Never has. But the rest of them don't love it. But I mean, they're not like running in terror either. They're just like, okay, the noise is really annoying. I'm gonna go over to this side of the house now. So Leroy has been a little curious, but not too much. I think having those bags up and blocking their sight from it helps a lot too. Makes him assume the door is just... he can't actually get through the door. Because he would launch himself at those gates, I think. If he really thought he could get through that door, he would launch himself at those gates. He would Leroy Jenkins his way into that room. If he could. If he thought he could. Just for fun. Which I have not seen him. He did get his medicine this morning. So... when it kicks in, things get quiet. Plus, it's getting towards the middle of the day. Usually middle of the day, afternoon, they all quieten down a little bit. Alright, we are going to do one more layer, I think. Yep. And then this one I'll do fairly heavy. Medium. We'll just say medium pressure. Because I feel like I'm not getting as much of the darker green. I probably should have picked a middle green that was a little closer to this color. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It still looks okay. So I didn't do... I know I haven't I've posted videos over the weekend, but a lot of them I was recording last week, and I think I did the Amazon video on Friday, and then the whole weekend I didn't color, I didn't record, I didn't watch any coloring videos. I just slept and read. I don't know why I was so tired, but it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, and I didn't really move or do much of anything for a couple days. Monday I got aggravated about it, and I got stubborn, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do something, so I'm gonna actually get something done. So I got laundry folded and got some different work done around the house, which is a pretty big achievement for me here lately. Did that, and then yesterday I was like, I'm gonna record some videos before they show up to work, that way I don't have to worry about the construction noise. And I had all these plans tomorrow, or for Tuesday, and I got up Tuesday, and my body was like, no. Nope, you did too much yesterday. Don't even go there today. And so I did get the kitchen clean, because kitchen's right next to the utility room, and I was like, I don't want these people seeing a massive mess. So we're going to get that done. Well, not a massive mess, but you know what I mean. So I did get the kitchen cleaned, and Brent did part of it, and then I did the other half. And I finally got myself put together enough to go out to the store. I'd really been putting that off since like last week. I don't know why, I just did not want to leave the house. I went yesterday and went to the store. And then I went and got myself a cheeseburger to reward myself for going to the store. That's terrible. But I did. And I got home and I ate the cheeseburger and I did nothing the rest of the day. I slept some, I took a nap. I really just did not feel good yesterday evening. I don't know. Probably this cheeseburger coming back to haunt me. And my bad choices coming back to haunt me. Now we're going to do a final overall layer of the lightest color to kind of blend it all together. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, it was the cheeseburger coming back to haunt me, I guess. So, but I did get to the store yesterday, and that was an achievement. I am trying to be a little more caring towards myself, I guess, instead of getting upset over what all I didn't do. Focus on the fact that I did get something done. And I'm better at it. It's just, I'm still not where I should be on that. Like I said, yesterday was frustrating because it was like, one day, and it wasn't even like I was up cleaning like a mad woman on Monday and just bouncing all over the place and stuff. I mean, it wasn't even that at all. It was just I made myself get up every couple hours and just do small chores around the house, and that's more than I usually do. And like, how was I rewarded by being exhausted on Tuesday and sleeping like absolute crap that night? And then last night wasn't much better either. So those are my rewards for my efforts. You'd think doing more, I would sleep more. I would have sounder sleep because, I'm actually getting up and having some sort of activity in my life. But no, it's the opposite. I don't understand why. That is probably going to be a good topic to talk about with my therapist tomorrow. So yeah, the rest of the week, Thursday I've got my appointment with my therapist. I have to leave here for a little bit. I might go over to my mom's house for a while and hang out with her. See if they want me to bring some lunch or something. Probably won't be able to stay for too long, but maybe for a couple hours. And then my husband is taking off Friday and Monday from work. He plays RuneScape a lot, for those of you that are familiar with the game, and they are having a double experience weekend. He doesn't really use his vacation days much through the year, so he's using a few of them for this. And so and I'm knocking off pencils. So he is taking off that. So there are the greens. That's a pretty nice blend on it. Like I said, it's not, don't go into these expecting like your Arteza or Prismacolor level blends or softness, I'm not saying go in and expect that, but for between the three different ones, let's see, we had $10, 14, and 11.37 for 10 to $15 pencils. I feel like they're doing a pretty good job. So let's see. What did I say I was gonna do? I was gonna do Purple Frog, didn't I? I did. Purple Frog. Of course, now I need to figure out which one's the darkest color, since apparently I can't figure that out just by looking at it. Huh. That's kind of interesting. The Luscious Lavender, in some ways... No, it isn't. I'm crazy. Never mind. Like, jeez, Michelle, come on. Okay. So, going to go with the Purple Frog. I guess this kind of counts as a color in chat too, so this might be my color in chat for the week, since it's a pretty long video. Yeah, you know, that's what we're going to do. We're going to just call this my color in chat for the week as well. So if I decide I want to do another one, obviously I can do that. So I am going to also record. I'd like to go ahead and do it today, but considering it is already noon and the way my energy level normally goes, I have a feeling, well, if I don't do it today though, it's going to be hard to do it tomorrow. And I try to do my videos a day or two beforehand so that they're already up and scheduled and ready to go. But I am doing a flip through Friday. I got all my books in from what I ordered on Prime Day. I also ordered a few more books. I did order some books from Book Outlet. They actually have I got another copy of this book, actually. They had it marked down to $5-ish, I think. It was a scratch and dent, and I have no idea what shape the book will be in when I get it, but typically the scratch and dents I've gotten from them before have not been bad condition at all, so... but no, I picked up a few other books. I don't know. I need to just tell myself that I'm going to buy more. Maybe if I tell myself I'm not going to buy any books, I won't buy the books. Or tell myself that I'm just going to buy them. Like, it's kind of a reverse psychology thing. But, probably should have included a lighter purple in here than I had, but that's okay. But, so yeah, I'm probably going to have enough new books for the next 2 or 3 flip through Fridays, so. Yeah, this is so frustrating. Like, I can already feel my energy level just tanking on me, and it's, like, it's just noon. And I know part of it is I haven't slept well the past few nights, but oh my goodness. I shouldn't be, like, this tired for what little I do, and then it's even worse because, you know, I get tired like that, and I'm like, I don't really feel like getting my laptop out. I don't really feel like coloring. I just usually end up reading because that's the least, that involves the least amount of effort for me. So I usually wind up reading. when it gets like this. But it's frustrating because I just don't, like, I don't understand. I haven't done much of anything this morning. I don't know why I'm already so tired at noon that I could lay down and take a nap if the construction noise wasn't going on. So I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Actually, the way I feel, I probably could go to sleep even with the construction noise going on. I don't think I did a great job in picking out my purple blends. Because like I said, the colors, I really needed like a light purple. I don't even know if I had that though, to be honest. Let's take a look. I used Luscious Lavender. I could probably use the plum. Let me get out the plum. Hopefully y'all have actually seen me coloring. If I've been sitting here coloring and prattling on the whole time and y'all haven't seen it, then that's going to kind of suck. But this thing's getting loaded, so I'm just like, it's getting loaded. So it is, I said plum. Where'd it go? Pretty plum. There it is. Let's add some pretty plum to this and see what I get. That's what I was saying. I tried to use similar colors in the Jade Summer book just because I knew I would be comparing. But in these other ones, I'm going to try some different colors too. So, yeah. It definitely gives it a more of a pop, like what I wanted. Definitely using a brush. Well, trying to use the eraser instead of a brush. Yeah, gives it that slightly pinker look that I wanted. I'll still keep in that dark blue purple color. I'm talking about cheeseburgers now. I want another Dad Blame cheeseburger. Dang it, Michelle. Why? Why do you do this to yourself? So yeah, I will have a Flip Through Friday up. So next month is Creative Haven Dover month. I have agreed. I was going to host it anyway, but now I'm going to be co-hosting it with some other people. I'll need to get the full list together. There's going to be quite a few of us. It's pretty popular. Color along for good reason. They have awesome books. It's Creative Haven month, but I'll probably technically call it a Dover month for me because I do have some Dover books that aren't Creative Haven that I may want to color in just to show. I realized that I should probably do like I did with the Jade Summer color along and have a couple days of flip throughs of my Creative Haven books so that you guys can see them. See the variety, some of the variety. I do not have all of them. It's not like I'm not trying to have all of them, but I don't have all of them. But I probably will do a couple days of like a big flip through of my Creative Haven Dover collection. Just so you guys can see some of the books that are out there before August, and then National Coloring Day, which is the 2nd, not the 1st. I was wrong. That's on a Friday. Before all that comes up. So we'll probably be doing that. I might start that this weekend. That's at least going to be a couple videos. So here is what the Cra-z-arts did with the Magical Jungle picture. We're going to go ahead and stop here for this one because I do have one more book to demo these in. I figured we'll just stick with the greens and the purples. I don't know if I really want that pink peachy color in this picture. I think I almost want some reds here. I'm feeling some purples, reds, and bright greens today. I don't know. I don't know what has come over me, but that is what I'm feeling today. And so that is what we're going to roll with. So that was from Magical Jungle. I feel like they did do better in that one than they did in the Jade Summer book. I liked the feel of them better. I didn't feel like definitely didn't have to press down as hard with them. I could color with them for much longer on that kind of paper. Now, what page did I pick for this? I picked this one. This is still the one I want to use. Yes. Okay. So the third book we're going to color in is Tenderful Enchantments by Clara Markova. I'll consider this high quality paper. This is super smooth, not a whole lot of tooth to it. These are this type of paper where your softer colored pencils usually shine. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the harder colored pencils. So we're going to do this picture. I think we're going to color this here. We're going to make the leaves that green, and then we're going to come back in with purple for the actual flowers. So that is what we're going to do. And we're going to not make it as crooked. There. We're going to zoom in. Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay. So I might start the Dover flip throughs through the weekend. Man, I am really I don't know, I guess because of Prime Day and everything else this month, it just feels like I'm doing a lot of flip through videos and haul videos and videos like that. Like, I don't typically do that many, and this month's been just a weird month. So light, Michelle, go light with it. Okay, yeah. So here is, I was doing more medium pressure on the other ones. This is with the light pressure right here. So, but this has been a weird month. Like I said, with Prime Day and all this other stuff going along. For Creative Haven / Dover month, I already have some ideas of some of the books I'm going to color in. They do have a nice variety, including some color by number. I love their color by number books, and we're definitely going to be coloring in one of those on camera. I'd like to get one from Marjorie Sarnett, because I missed, while I was on hiatus, the planned color along I had for her in May. I ended up missing because I wasn't coloring, and I hate that, so I really want to be able to do one of her pictures on camera next month. Not sure which book yet. It's all her book. I thought she had another book out coming out later this year, maybe. I can't remember. The Mermaids one in May was the last one, I think, her newest release. But I may do a page from that. So there's 2 pages. And then I am not sure what else I will do yet. That's probably about as far as I'm going to plan it, and the rest of it's going to be what mood strikes me. because the moment I overplan, it will all go awry and I'll have to rethink it all. So we're just going to stick with, we know we're going to do 2 of those. I'm doing a Marjorie Sarnett picture and I'm doing a color by number picture. And those will be 2 separate things because Marjorie Sarnett doesn't have any color by number books. So those will be 2 separate ones. And my husband's sneezing. Yeah, it's weird, like the drop in the temperature and the humidity is nice, but like I haven't had to take Quixote for his laser treatments in a couple months because I don't know, the more humid weather seemed to not mess with the sinuses as much, but with the temperature drop, like he has been coughing and hacking so much this week. I've been using these little drops in his nose. I've been giving him breathing treatments because, of course, he wants to get right behind my head every night to sleep. And when he snotted up, that's all you hear all night is just like all night. And I feel bad enough for him as it is, but he loses a little sympathy when that's all I hear for half the night with him behind my head in the bed. And I don't want to kick him out because then I really feel bad. So if he continues on, I'll probably go ahead and take him in next week. This week's gonna be hard too, unless he just flat out, like nothing's helping him. I'm gonna try to make it to next week before I take him in. Let us get through this week and everything we have going on this week first. I don't think I used the medium color on this one yet. Or did I? I don't remember. Sounds like they're in there dancing jigs on my floor. Yeah, they had to cut the floor to actually get to the foundation. The property my house sits on slopes, and on the, like if you're standing in the house, on the left side of the house, it's sloped higher than it is on the right side. And so what that means for the foundation is that the foundation is a normal sized crawl space on the right side of the house because there's plenty of room for people to get down there. And on the left side, there's not really much room at all. So you pretty much have to go through the floors. And it's not perfectly left to right, but that's pretty much the gist of it. And I'm using kind of medium heavy pressure here. I think they do pretty well in this book too. But that's part of the problem with the foundation work is we have to cut holes in the floor right now to get to some of it, and then that just adds to the stress level and to the cost, obviously. So they had to go through our utility room floor to get to the foundation there. Otherwise, we would have to get our crawl space hand dug out, which is something we may do in the future, but it's going to require some more research before we do that. So, oh, the joys of living in an older home. Yes, the house has character, and I've really grown to love the house over the years. When I first got it, I hated it for so long. Mostly got it just because the price was right, and that was pretty much all the house I could afford at the time. And I was all, I was younger, and I didn't have the health problems I have now, and I was like, oh yeah, all that work's not going to be a problem. And now all this time later, I'm like, why did I sign myself up for all of this? But we just never know what's going to happen, I guess. But over the years, the house has grown on me, so I don't view it as negatively as I did. So a lot of it at this point, other than this foundation work, is just cosmetic. It was a foreclosure, so it wasn't always taken care of in the best way possible. And again, being an older house, some things were done years and years ago that would be considered standard these days. So sometimes when we're planning to make changes like to the kitchen and stuff in the future, we're gonna have to take into account the counters may not be a standard height. The doors are, with the exception of one door, they're all pretty standard widths, thank goodness. But like the stairs, or the older style steep stairs, they're not the ones that people go with these days. So we're gonna have to get new stairs done at some point. That's probably the biggest other project we have, is the stairs. We do need to get a new AC down the road. The rest of it's just new flooring, hopefully not new drywall, but in some places it probably really could use it. And just redoing the bathroom. There's all kinds of things that need to be done with it. I did tell my husband, I said, here's the deal. If we're going to put all this work in this house, I want to get it to a point where I'm living in it without any work needing to be done, really, for like 5 years before we sell it. I don't want to go through years and years of work just to stick a for sale sign on it and not enjoy any of the benefits of the effort that was put into the house. So, but I'm not putting as much pressure on this one, and I'm still getting the same color output, which makes sense. It's a smoother, less toothy paper, so I'm not having to put as much effort in to cover the tooth of the paper. Again, this one would probably, I don't know, between this one and Johanna Basford, I feel like I'm putting about the same amount of pressure and effort into this as I was the Johanna Basford book. So for me, they kind of are both on the same. Can't tell what's not part of the page and what's part of the page. There. So I can't really tell a huge difference myself. So, all right, let's get our purples out. Get that plum sharpened a bit. And we'll just do the flowers in purple. Trying to think. I think I talked a little bit about reading in my last color and chat, and I mean, really and truly, other than getting distracted by weird stories on Reddit and stuff like that the past few days, that's all I've been doing is reading. I called it the Glass Throne, but it's the Throne of Glass series. And that's what I've been reading through. I think I'm on either book 5 or book 6. It's the Tower of something. Tower of something. Yeah. And I think I said in my previous coloring chat that they were young adult books, and I thought they were. I mean, from what I could tell from like the first book, but when I got into the second and third books, like if I had a daughter and she was, let's say, like a junior or senior in high school or something, I think they'd be okay for her to read. But if I had like a really immature daughter or something, I don't know. They're not quite, what do they call them, bodice rippers. It's not quite to that point of like romance and sex scenes and stuff like that, but it gets quite descriptive in some of the other books. So keep that in mind if you are uncomfortable with that, or don't want your kids reading that kind of thing. then the first book or two isn't bad, but then as it continues on, it does seem to get a little into the uh, creative explanations of things. So so yeah, keep that in mind. Let's see. Pretty much all I've been reading. Like I said, I took a break from the Jane Kirkpatrick books, though I did have one finally pop up from my holds on my library books, and it's the last one in one of the series, so I do need to finish that one. I figured I would get through the Throne of Glass series, and then I'd still have plenty of time to read that for the speed that I'm reading at this point. So I'm not too worried about it. No idea what I'm going to read next. Like I said, the books are interesting. I mean, it's and this type of series I struggle with because like you get maybe about halfway through the book and like the action and everything really picks up and the book really moves for like the last half to uh, quarter of the book, and so like I'm loving it and reading, just speeding through there at the end, but like then you get to the next book and it slows down at the beginning, and that's pretty standard fare for series like that. There's nothing unusual about that. So definitely not sitting here saying, oh, there's something wrong with these books, because that's what happens. Because I don't know, I can't think of any series off the top of my head that is just go, go, go. Every single book, right at the beginning. When I was reading, I'm still reading them, but, oh shoot, what are they called? It's like magical school books, but I can't think of the name of them. Probably put them down I'll put the first one down in the description. I'm still reading them because he's still publishing the books, but I've caught up. There's like 17 books out there right now, which for someone who loves series like me, that was just like manna from heaven. I was happy as could be when I saw that. But like even with when you got 17 books out, I mean, you're going to have times in the book, especially in the beginnings of the next books in the series, where you're building a little bit of the story and things slow down a bit. There's a lot more talking and prepping for like the more fast-paced parts of the book, and I mean that's just how it's going to go. And you get kind of used to it, I guess, when you're reading a long series like that, and it's kind of the standard fare for the books. So that's what's happening with these, which is fine. Like I said, this book though, the Tower book, I cannot remember. I keep wanting to say Tower of Ash, but I don't think that's right. This book actually kept pretty good pace at the beginning, because it does venture a little bit into a different part of the world that's been built. So that one has kept my interest a little more so than the others. They're very good books though. I quite enjoy them. I don't know why I had not picked them up before, but I'm trying to think. They're fantasy is how I would put them. Main character, she's an assassin. It involves kingdoms and magic and kind of like a medieval world type setup of sorts. Wars, kings, queens, things like that. So if that's kind of your thing, might be a good series if you have not read it yet. I did find the books in my library. It drives me crazy because everybody follows common sense like I would, in that you know, you get the first couple books of a series, you'd rather check them out at the library because you don't know if you're going to like them or not, right? And so all the first few books in the series are all on hold for like weeks and weeks because everybody's checking out the first few books first to see if they like them. And I was fortunate enough to get the first book, and I think it was the only reason I was reading the series, is I got the first book on discount during Amazon Prime Days. And so I read the first book, and then I was like, I don't want to sit for 3 weeks and wait on the second. I think it was the second and the third book. So I ended up buying those, which they were about maybe $7. They weren't. I feel like for and I am a cheapie when it comes to digital books, but I feel like the $7-8 range, even under 10, even $10 at most, feels like a good comfortable range for me when it comes to Kindle books, like digital books. Anything past that point on a digital book, and I really have to be committed to purchase it. I think I bought one or two of the Jane Kirkpatrick books, and they were in the $12-13 range, and I really had to kind of hem and haw over that before I actually went on with it. So, um, but yeah, anything from like, well, I mean, obviously dollar books are fantastic, and Kindle Unlimited books are fantastic if you have Kindle Unlimited. But anything from like $5, $6, $7, like I said, to about the $10 range, it feels okay to me to in purchasing a digital book. Like I don't mind that as much, especially if it's a series and it's a really good series and I really like the author. So, I mean, I do want to support authors, and if I can get it through the library, great. But there are a lot of books out there on Kindle Unlimited that are self-published that libraries, at least certain digital libraries like mine, don't have access to them, so they don't offer them through the loan programs. I'll come in with the eraser in a minute. Probably should sharpen that spore. Yeah, come on. Well, that didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. Well, there we go. I snapped a little bit of it. That was a pretty sharp point. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna read next after that. That's pretty much what I'm working through right now, and I've got at least, I think, 2 more books in the series. See, look at me. I'm like, these didn't snap at all, and then now they're snapping. Like, I'll show you. See how line. You know what sounds really good? What is it with me? And like, I'm thinking cheeseburgers, then I'm thinking grilled cheese. Like, man. I mean, I'm able to eat dairy now, and I mean, it does bother my stomach a little, but not like it used to. But I mean, it's one of those things where I probably shouldn't eat like a whole bunch of it, and yet I'm all like cheeseburgers and grilled cheese and anything with cheese. If it's got cheese, it is a winner for me. Okay, I think that's a pretty good point. Let me get my brush. I did not see as much crumbling. Probably because I wasn't putting as much pressure on them. Looks like the purple's erasing pretty good. Using an eraser pencil. I think I got a little messy over here with the little bits of the flower, but that's okay. So that is how they seem to do in the like super smooth paper type books. So let me back out and show you. Well, that's a good spot there. So I don't feel like I had to press down quite as hard for these. I feel like the blend wasn't, and that might have been just because of me. It doesn't feel like as smooth of a blend on this paper for me. It's a little more like I would have to pick really varying amounts of color to get a noticeable blend. I felt like it all kind of smushed together a little bit more in this on this type of paper. I didn't like I said, have to press down as hard as I did on the Amazon paper. No smearing as far as I can tell. Crumbed a little bit, but not too bad. Overall, not bad. Now after coloring, let's see, we've been doing this for about, I've probably been doing this for about an hour and a half. My fingers are bugging me a little bit. I, at this point, would probably need to take a break and from these pencils and do something else. I wanted to show, again, the Magical Jungle. To me, this paper seemed to be the best one with them. I enjoyed coloring on this paper more than I did the other two with these pencils. So, and then finally we have the Flowers for Beginners, where it definitely did they're definitely good pencils for Amazon printed paper. Actually really kind of like how the purple turned out on this one than on the other ones. So they would be, I don't really see any paper they probably would give a lot of trouble with. Like I said, kind of a medium tooth paper to me. I liked how they felt better on that, and I felt like I had to press down a whole lot more on this to get the blend together than I did the other two books. So for me, I would say, well, as we're talking about final thoughts for these, I do like them. I plan on keeping them. Will I color a ton with them? Probably not, just because I can color a lot longer with the softer pencils. Like I said, even an hour and a half in on these pages, and I didn't even have to press that hard on these two. My joints and my wrist and stuff are hurting pretty good, and well, not terrible, but they are hurting, and I would have to take a break. Any project that I do with these, I would have to do over a longer period of time and try to make myself do lighter layers. If you're a heavy pressure person and you have wrist and joint issues, these may not be the ideal choice for you, but they certainly are softer than the standard Cra-z-art pencils. Regular Crayola pencils, I would say they're slightly softer than that, but not by much. I like the color choices in them. I wish they had some more oranges. I like having a variety of colors more than specific colors that I'm looking for. I wish they had more oranges and browns. But they do have plenty of reds and pinks and greens. So, yeah, for $10 to $15 range pencils, I think they're a good choice if you want to move up to something and put a couple more dollars into it, but you're not quite ready to put 20 or 30 bucks into a pack of pencils. These would be a pretty good choice. What I'll be curious to see is how these stack up. The other two pencil sets, well, we'll just say one pencil set, because I wanted to throw the Pelicans in for this range, but they are a slightly cheaper set, and I think at most there's 24 colors, so it's kind of hard to compare them if they're not similar in size to color. The other set at the $10 range I'm going to review are the Lelix pencils. I believe those are oil-based, and I believe it's a set of 60 that I'm getting. So we'll also be coloring in those, if not probably not next week, the week after, and at that point I'll be able to fully say, like, if I had just $10 to spend on pencils, what would I spend them on? So, but if you were curious how these do, hopefully this was helpful. Depending on the type of books that you color in, I think a lot of times the type of paper you have matters more than the pencils that you use, because you, like I said, with these and the Johanna Basford books, I can get some really nice color, and I can get a really nice look with fairly inexpensive pencils on a slightly more expensive, higher quality paper. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. If you have in the comments, if you guys want to let me know, actually, I'm just going to scratch that. We're just going to color in Magical Jungle next week. I really like how they colored on this page, and so I'm going to make an executive decision, and we will be coloring in my next coloring chat, whether it's this weekend or next week. We're going to be coloring and finishing this picture. I'm just making that executive decision. It's going to be Magical Jungle. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.